the question that we get asked. So you guys are saying that a Gentile is going to get on a chariot? That's bugged out. That makes no sense. That's dumb. In Ezekiel 20, it describes the whole nation of Israel being gathered, even the wicked amongst us, to get to the wilderness to then be purged out, the wicked in particular. That would mean someone who assaults children, someone who burns people alive, an idolater, someone who I'm not going to say it for YouTube, someone who forcefully lays down with a woman, they would be gathered there too. So you're saying it's crazier so you would much rather look to your left on a chariot and see someone who is a serial grapeist, but he just happens to be the same stock as you, than to see some Gentile who keeps the commandments? I want to say, do you love God more, or do you hate Gentiles more? Which one? They clearly hate Gentiles.
Obviously, these guys are sold out, which we've been saying this for a long time. And they constantly put a foot in their mouth. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters that's out there. Unto this like foreigners, from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. These two, like Apostle Tahar calls them, these magpies, these demons, these devils, is constantly, obviously the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai is not on them. And they're obsessed, their obsession with the heathens proves that they're just the devil, bro. Straight up. I mean, I don't know how you get so obsessed with how you get the Gentiles, the heathens in your mind the way that they have them. So I don't have to make this long and drawn out because obviously the scriptures, plenty of scriptures cut them with this. In one particular scripture, well, obviously we know that these guys ain't gonna. First Peter's 4, I saw that 17, says, "For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High." So those that call themselves Israelites, those that go out there in the highways and byways, or don't go in the highways and byways, those that claim to be doing the will of the Lord, when they're clearly not doing the will of the Lord, judgment comes to you first. All right? Hey, judgment comes to us, as well. But judgment, the harsh judgment, is coming to you. Okay? And if it first begin at us, those that know, those that are the inner circle, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? So here's a question for you. You morons, you imbeciles. What is the gospel? Which we all know is the good news. So the good news is to the Gentiles or the Israelite foreigners. And it says, if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So who is the righteous? Is the elect of the nation of Israel. If the elect of the nation of Israel scarcely be saved, meaning let's look up the word scarcely. It's Greek. It says with difficulty, hardly, not easily, i.e., sacredly, very rarely. So the ones that were predestined by the nick of their teeth is going to be able to make it out of here. How the hell those that's not part of the nation of Israel can make it? How? Oh, because they keep the law, statutes, and commandments. The contract doesn't go to them. They wasn't part of the original contract. The Lord's come to save those. Matter of fact, we gotta play dumb again. Not dumb, actually. This is fun. To be honest with you. Hebrews 8:8. It says, For finding fault with them, he saith, who did the Lord find fault with? The nation of Israel. What was that fault? They had a stony heart. That's why the laws was written in stone. So the fault was not the law, it was us. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Why did the Lord said the house of Israel and the house of Judah? Because the kingdoms were split. Israel was split into two, northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand. So does it mean that because he took those people from by the hand, that that covenant was broken? No. He says not the same way I'm going to give them. I'm not going to take them in the wilderness and give them the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to do something different. It says, lead them out of the land of Egypt because they continue not in my covenant. I regard them not, saith the Lord. Which regarding not is no people. We wasn't no people to the Lord. So the Lord didn't regard us as a people. It's because of Yahweh Shai, we became a people again in the sight of the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with their house of Israel, all 12 tribes. After those days, saith the Lord. What days is that? These days. All right. The Lord is making that covenant with us in these days. Not as the was before. Is this one is different. Because we leaving here spectacular, fashionable. Get this guy's got out my freaking. And it says, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. So that means that the same way that idiot just said, that means that the heathens, the Lord would have to, he would have to program them, put it in their minds, which is their heart, with their hearts, their minds, of something that there never was from the beginning. So they're not even again an upgrade. Okay, what the Lord is promising to His people is an upgrade. Okay, we're going from fleshy to godly. So that would mean that the heathens, according to his logics, they would have to be on an ungodly level to get into the chariots. And then he said, "Oh, because it said the wilderness, and we got if the Lord said we have to kill off the rebels are off of Israel. The rebels is the Israelite foreigners that's out there. The Israelites that's not in America. All right, they're the ones that's going to be judged. The us being delivered, the hopeful elect being delivered from here. The transition is new body. New body meaning sin no more. You're not going to be beamed up, all right, if you have a stony heart. First of all, to get into the ship, you have to have a new body. The Lord's not going to just give them a borrowed body for the moment and then execute them. That's backwards. And it says, I will write them in their hearts, and I will be them. Sorry, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. 1 Corinthians 15. I guess these guys forgot that, huh? But it's not that they forgot. They bought and sold. It says 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. Behold, I will show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, which goes back to First Peter's 4:17. The righteous scarcely be saved. Being beamed up, come up hither. Revelations 18, Revelations 11. Okay, the Lord is gonna beam up His people. Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Matter of fact, hold on real quick. These guys, man. Oh, I could go to Wisdom of Solomon, but I'm not gonna go there yet. Isaiah 26:10. 20. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers." Who's the Lord's people? Oh, what is it? Says the restoration of for Israel. It says, "Go home, my people, and lock your doors, hide yourselves for a little while, until the Lord's anger has passed," which is not talking about, it's talking about being beamed up in the chariot. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers. When you go into that word chambers, is parlor. So the Lord is basically saying He has a room set it for His people. Once His people gets delivered, all right, and shut the doors. And we're not shutting no doors. The Lord's going to shut the doors, and the Lord's going to shut the doors on 2/3 of the nation of Israel. All right, they're not getting up there. Judgment, the great judgment, is here in the land of America. All right, and that judgment is 2/3 ain't gonna make it. Point blank. Period. They're not getting no ticket out of here. That was a promise of the Lord. All right. It says, "And shut the doors behind thee, hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation pass be overpassed." And that indignation that's going to overpass is the destruction that's going to take place in America. So we're only one set of people's leaving this thing unscathed is the elect. And there's no elected heathens to make it. Like I said, it's a good subject. It says, go back to 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. It says, "In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trump shall sound, and the dead shall be raised up uncorruptible, and we shall be changed." So, so do not those that die in Yahushua get the first class ticket up there? Men that die for this truth, are they not going to be the first ones up there? And like it says in Thessalonians, and those of us that remain, all right, shall meet them in the sky. So they earn their stripe through the trials and tribulations of the Lord. But those that are alive, they also are granted to be saved in a twinkling of an eye, when it's set destruction to take place, to be delivered. So this is all earned. So does the heathens, have they earned to get up there because they believe in the last moment? These niggas are out of their goddamn mind, yo. They're really out of their mind. It says, "For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality." So no, a sinful man is not gonna make it, because sin equals what? Death. So when this corruptible shall put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality, then shall then shall be brought to pass, saying, that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. So stop right there. So death is swallowed up in victory. So why would the Lord allow somebody that he's about to put to death up in them chariots? That don't make no sense. Because these guys, they can't see beyond. See, they claim to be scholars, they claim to be deep, but they can't understand. The only people that's gonna make it in them chariots, once again, is the elect. Period. Because this is what's guaranteed. Those people that get into into them chariots. It says, "O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law." So it's not about keeping the laws, okay? Because breaking the laws is what? Death. It's about being predestined to be saved, being of the elect. So these niggas failed again. All right. Yeah. What if the Gentiles keep the laws? No, they're not going to be saved. They can't keep the laws. If the nation of Israel, if the Lord find fault with us, how can those people who the Lord had never attended from the beginning, how can they be saved? But thanks be to Yahweh, which giveth unto us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shai. So now you're saying that Yahweh Shai died for nothing. All right? He died for nothing because now the heathens could just magically make it. And he never had them in their tent. What was Matthew 15 and 24 said? Ye have not come only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew's first chapter says what? That he shall save his people from their sins. His people is possessive. Basic Hebrew Israelite 101. All right. And these guys obviously not steadfast. They're not unmovable. They're just wicked. Point blank, period. I had another one. Oh, Revelation 15 and 2. It says, "And I saw as it was a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that got in the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name," which New World Order, the microchip, they got over it. Why? Because they were saved from the destruction. Okay? This is the elect of the nation of Israel. That's name stood on the sea of glass, having their harps of the Most High, and they singing the song of Moses and the servant of the Most High, and they sing the song of the Lamb, saying, "Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints." So is if the elect is going to get the victory off of death, which is sin, all right, and they knew the name, the song of Moses and the song of the Lamb, which makes it an exclusive club. Now they could say, "Oh, what about Revelation 7th chapter? Those are Israelites, dummies. That was scattered abroad. Did not the promise was that we will be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth? That we will look as the other nations?" All right. So you know for a fact these guys are playing some math. They're playing games, man. And another thing, when The people that's going to get beamed up, they're not going to look like how they did before. All right, they're not going to look like. They're going to look perfect because this is the government body that's going to be saved. That's another factor. Yeah, obviously Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is about to judge these fools, man. You could clearly see it. He about to do a number on these guys. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name, for thou art holy. Oh, said thou alone holy, for all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And why would the nations worship the Lord? Tells you Isaiah the second chapter that they will come and they're going to try to learn to worship the Lord. That's why it says right here, Revelation 11 and 1. And, and it was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar and them that worship therein. What is the temple of the Most? Is it a Nate will have you believe that is a freaking he will have you believe is the kingdom of heaven is coming from the skies. No, the altar or the temple is the Lord's people. Luke 17 and 21. It says, Neither shall they say, Lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. 1 Corinthians 3, about 16. Know you not that you are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. So the temple of the Lord is the nation of Israel. All right. Now you go to Revelations 11 and 2. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not. What is that measurement? You measure it by the scriptures. Scripture says what? That the name of the Lord is dreadful among the heathen. So if a heathen can pronounce Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and believe, that's not a heathen, that's an Israelite. All right. So what they're doing, they sowing confusion with the doctrine. But that's why we're here for, combat every single thing that they say. Okay. It says, but the court which is without the temple, so without the Israelites, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they trod underfoot 40 and 2 days. I said 40 and 2 months for a period of time. So they're not a part of the ultimate temple. Something else that crossed my mind. Revelation 22 about, well, not that one. There it is. Revelation 22, because it's something that he said. 22 and 15. I started 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter into the gates, into the city. For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. So this is why the first step to be beamed up, a lot of people is not going to be qualified. Not going to be qualified. because they have to be taken out. They will be taken out before they even make it that far. The Lord is not playing that semantic game like He did before. All right. This um deliverance is gonna outdo the deliverance of Egypt. And the Lord caught Israel gave him a headache. Like, I'm not doing this again. He's not doing it again. They want to save the nations because they want to live their best miserable life, the short miserable life, what's left over, all right, because the shit's about to hit the fan. They want to live it up. All right. The secret is out. You want to live it up? While the shit hits the fan, you're even worse piece of shit. Because they know the shit that they saying ain't true. They just want to try to get their bank account fat and so forth. And since you want to take away from the book, the Lord's going to take you out. Obviously, you're not part of the ultimate plan of the kingdom. You're not written in the book of life. Pulling that bullshit. So just like these other camps, so 2/3 of the nation of Israel is going to pretty much suffer, while the heathens and the elected nation of Israel is gonna make it out of here. Get the fuck out of here. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nations. Shalom.